pre-graders, so namhlanje sizobe senza i-calculus. So before sizoyenza ama-exam question, sizoqala sibheke ama-basics and understand ukuthi yini into abazoyi-expecta from thina in an exam room masisibhala i-calculus. Okay, so i-calculus, basically we know average gradient and we know a gradient, right? Well, most of the time to calculate a gradient, it's a different pen. Most of the time to calculate a gradient, this is what we do. Say gradient is equals to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and this is the normal formula or joyel. But then the thing is, i-gradient yala isuke constant, and this sisebenzisa if ever sidila lani ne straight line ngisho normally. Okay, so now what if I have an exponential graph, a logarithmic graph, a trigonometric graph, or maybe a hyperbolic graph, and ngifuna ukuthola a gradient. Now this is where the formula comes in. Okay, so now this is what we use mangabe sifuna ukuthola average gradient sebenzisa le formula le. Okay, and then also sine first principle, so bazokubuza imibuzo like use the first principle to find 1 2 3 4 5. Now if first principle one, and it is this. Okay, all of this is first principle, right? F prime x lokusho derivative yaga fx. Okay, because the original formula yalana is just fx, right? So it's a derivative of this, ne? A derivative yaga fx is equals to a limit as h approach 0, right? And then multiply by f into x plus h minus f into x all over h. So yeah, and then but ngisazonibonisa la ukuthi sithola kanjani first principle, but immediately mabakhuluma nge-first principle, just think of this, keep this in mind. Okay, and then gonna notation efanele sisebenzise for calculus. All right, so now this is f prime x, right? We should go to the derivative of this, right? Derivative of this is that. So mabati derive this is ilendele abayishoyo. Okay, so now just so go to, because sometimes banokuba tricky and basebenzise maybe this instead of leyana, basebenzise lona instead of le. Into engifuna ukuthi uyazi today is that lentole f prime x is the same as y prime, is the same as dy over dx, is the same as df over dx, is the same as d over dx into fx, is the same as df into x, is the same as dxy. So now kunama rules with differentiation. Mabati differentiate, mele ulandele le mthetho le. So for example, lana mele uderive this lo x to the power of n. So into zoyenza is uthatha i-exponent uyisa phansi, and then le exponent leyo uyiminasa u1. Okay, so sizoba no n because we enter simisa phansi, multiply by x, and then it's n minus 1. So this is general rule ekumele uyazi le. Okay, now where n is the element, n wethu is the element of our real numbers, we should not forget that. And also n wethu akakwazi ukuba u0. Okay, because if ever n awu0, anything oyi multiply ngo0 ikunikeza u0. So if ngithi x multiplied by 0 izoba u0. Okay, and then into emele siyazi ukuthi i-derivative iyo constant, right? I-derivative iyo constant iwu0. Lokusho ukuthi mabathi derive u27 uzothola u0, mabathi derive u36 uzokunikeza u0. Okay, and then eyokugcina futhi ebalekile ukuthi now i-derivative manje, derivative ye-constant multiplied by i-derivative ye-function, right, izosinikeza i-constant multiply by i-derivative ye-function. Okay, NB le baleke kakhulu. So just because now sine constant la and siyazi ukuthi derivative ye constant u0 akusho ukuthi sesizothi 0 multiplied by this bese sithola u0. So sithatha le constant sikhipha ngaphandle the way ingakhona and then si derive I function the way ingakhona. So for example asithi bekumele si derive this ne over dx and maybe 27 multiplied by 2x squared ne. So into besizoyenza is sizothatha i-constant yethu sibe ngaphandle which is 27 multiplied by now u2 multiplied by 2 kuzoba u4x then 2 minus 1 kuzoba u1. And then ekugcineni sizoba nama sketching graph. So sizosketch kuzobe kune either kuzobe kune graph and then fanele u-analyze or kuzomele wena usketche i-graph. So but le topic le sizoyikhavara kuma functions because izoba easier masukune background yama functions, but ngizonitshela just a few things ekumele uzazi ngama graph sketchings we ngama sketching graphs we calculus. Okay, so now into important ekumele uyazi ukuthi kuzoba khona ama stationary points, right? Kuzoba khona ama stationary points. Okay, and our stationary points can either be a local maximum or a local minimum. Okay, so asithi graph yakho le. So obviously leya kuzoba a local maximum, leya kuzoba a local minimum. Okay, so and then now into important emele uyazi futhi ukuthi now sometimes bangakubuza bathi thola those stationary points. Okay, maybe awazi ama value ala, so now bathi thola those stationary points. And if ufuna ukuthola ama stationary points wakho, this is very important to know ukuthi uzothi i-derivative yakho is equals to 0 bese usolve for ux. Singibhale ngithi then solve for x. So for example, maybe what if find the stationary point of a certain graph, okay? And then maybe if because anayakho mhlambe u3x squared, ne? Okay, so into ozoyenza is uzoderive u3x squared, which is what? 6x, right? And it's so then masuqedile uzothi which is equals to 0, then solve for x. So now 6x is equals to 0, so divide with 6, and then x is equals to 0, right? Now masuthola ukuthi x wakho is equals to 0, uthatha lo 0 lo substitute to the original formula, and then uzokwazi ukuthola your y point now angithi bese uzokwazi ukuthi i-stationary point sakho sikuphi, sila noma sila or whatever, because sometimes ngeke baze bakunikeze i-graph, they will just ask you to find ama stationary points pair, okay, without having to give you a graph. All right, another important thing ekumele uyazi ngama stationary points ukuthi okay, well sishilo ukuthi i-gradient yakho is u0, angisho gradient yakho is equals to 0 ukubonisile lapha ukuthi u0, i-gradient ye-curve yakho u0, and also ne-tangent yakho. So i-gradient ye-curve yakho u0, also ne-tangent is equals to 0 as well. So now let's begin exam questions and see. Umbuzo wethu olandelayo uthi given f at x is equals to 2 over 3x, determine the derivative of f of x using the first principle. So manje laba siphe a restriction, which is that we need to use first principle. So asikwazi nje ukuderive ngendlela esithanda ngayo, kumele sisebenzise first principle. Okay, so f of x siphiwe vele ukuthi 2 over 3x, and then f into x plus h. Now uke lokho kumele simthole 2 over, so la kuno x khona siyo substitute sifake x plus h, so sizoyibhala the way ngakhona, which is 2 over 3x. But manje la kuno x khona kumele substitute sifake bani, sifake x plus h. So sizoyenza njalo ke, si substitute laphayana x kube x plus h, which is the same as 2 over 3x plus 3h. And then sizokhumbula formula la substitute akhona, which is equals to lim as h is approaching 0 into f into x plus h minus f into x all over h, angithi kanjena. So and then manje sesizo substitute again. Okay, ngakhohlwa ukubhala ilimit yakho as h is approaching 0. So now sesinayo f into x plus h, which is that. So sesiyo substitute again manje, kuzoba 2 over 3x plus 3h, minus, and then f into x sinayo futhi laphayana, so kuzoba 2 over 3x all over h. Okay, and then now the next step sayaqhubeka futhi. So manje into esizoyenza, sizofuna ukumova lo h la ngapha negative 6h, and then multiply throughout lama brackets, 3x multiplied by 3x, which is 9x squared, plus 3x multiplied by 3h, is 9xh, multiplied by 1 over h. So manje lo h lo uzokhanselana nalo ya h lapha phezulu ngithi, lokusho ukuthi sizosala negative 6 all over 9x squared plus 9xh, ngithi. Okay, so then now u-h wethu uzoba u0. Now u-h wethu mase seba u0, selingana no0, i-limit asayifaki. So okay, so sizoyi-check esayidini, besikade sinikezwe u2 over 3x, so sizozama ukuyideriva, kuzoba masi-derive nje esayidini ukuchecka ukuthi yiyo. So sino 2 over 3 multiplied by x to the power negative 1, right? Okay, bese kuzoba negative 1. Umbuzo landelayo uthi determine f prime of x if f of x is equals to 3 multiplied by x squared minus 5 all together to the power of 2. So umbuzo abasibuza wona kahle kahle la ukuthi f at x unikiwe, so kumele wena wenzeni, kumele usibonise i-derivative yaka f of x, angithi. Okay, so now obviously kumele siqale simplify this whole thing mase siqeda ukuyisimplifya then sizoyi-derive. Okay, so f of x is equals to 3 into x squared minus 5 all together to the power of 2. So manje sizoyisimplifya. So into ongayenza la ungavula ama-brackets ayi-2 or just do it ngale ndlela le. So no x squared 2 times 2 is 4. So kuzoba x to the power of 4. And then sithatha isibhalisa ngendlela engakhona, which is negative. So 5 multiplied by 2, 10. Then multiply by first term, x squared. And then now negative 5 to the power of 2. Here change your sign, you positive. And then 25. But angisho yazi ukuthi khona indlela yokuyenza this whole thing. Ungavele umultiply, ungavele wenza uvula ama brackets awu2, phinda le nto le kawu2. So but then siyashesha kanje. So then 3 multiplied by x to the power of 4. So about 3x power of 4 minus 10 times 3, which is 30 x squared. And then 25 multiplied by 3, 75. And then masasiqedile ke manje, now that sesisimplifyile sesizoyi-derive ngoba into abasibuze yona le. So the derivative yaka f of x is equals to 4 multiplied by 3 ngoba sithi exponent multiplied by base. So 4 multiplied by 3 is 12 x, and then 4 minus 1 sisala ngo3 minus 2 multiplied by 30 is 60 x, 2 minus 1 sala u1, and then le constant, so plus 0 umotanda. And then so ish. So umbuzo wethu uthi determine dy over dx if x squared minus 3 is equals to that abnormal thing there. Okay, so if you're watching a video yami yokuqala ya algebra, so understand ukuthi kahle kahle le is just a walk in the park, ne? So the first thing is sizoyenza, obviously sizo remove that root, right? And then must go to remove that root, sizoyenza y the subject of the formula before we can derive. Okay, so it's going to be x squared minus 3 is equals to y 1 over 3, right? Because it's remove that root. Okay, so now that we have it like this, sisifuna ukususa manje loya 1 over 3. So into sizoyenza is sizo angisho sino 1 over 3 laphayana, so sizovele si multiply with 3 over 1. So multiply by 3 over 1, and then naga left sizoyenza the same thing. So sino x squared minus 3, right? So sizo multiply laphaya with 3 over 1. Okay, so obviously u3 no 3 bazo cancelana, no 1 no 1 bazo cancelana, which means y uzosala 1. Angithi. Okay, so now sisino x squared minus 3 to the power of 3. Okay, so which means y is equals to, so sizo expand this 3 times, so expand again 3, right? So when x squared minus 3 multiplied by x squared minus 3 multiplied by x squared minus 3, right? So it's 1 2 3, and then so multiply throughout. All right, so x squared multiplied by x squared izosinikeza x to the power of 4 minus 6x squared plus 9, because 3 times 3 is positive, negative is positive 3 is positive 9. Okay, so then this will multiply again, x squared minus 3, right? Okay, so again kuzoba it's x squared multiplied by x to the power of 4, which is going to be x to the power of 6 minus negative 3 times x to the power of 4, which would be x squared multiplied by negative 6x squared, which is going to be negative 6x to the power of 4, because 2 plus 2 is negative 4. Remember, our bases are the same, so add in our exponents. So okay, then it's going to be plus 9x squared, because x squared multiplied by 9 gives us 9x squared. Okay, and then negative 3 multiplied by x to the power of 4 is negative 3x to the power of 4. Then negative 3 multiplied by negative 6 to the power of 2 is positive 18x squared, and then negative 3 multiplied by positive 9 is negative 27. Okay, so now from la plus ama like terms minus ama like terms, so it's negative 6x to the power of 4 minus 3x to the power of 4, and then positive 9x to the power of 2 plus 18x to the power of 2. Okay, so then what we have is x to the power of 6, right? And then I'm like terms now, so you can see le ifana na le, because to the power of 4 to the power of 4, and then le ifana na le to the power of 2 to the power of 2. Okay, so negative 6 minus 3, which is negative 9x to the power of 4, 8, and then 18 plus 9, so it's going to be 18 plus 9, 18. So now after this is all add as a subtract ama like terms, ne? So x to the power of 6, and then negative 6x to the power of 4 minus 3x to the power of 4 is negative 9, because 6 plus 3 is 9. It's power of 4, and then from there plus 9 plus 18, 27x to the power of 2 minus 27. Okay, so now dy over dx. So manje sesiyaderive, that is why sizothi dy over dx sesiyaderive ke manje. So thatha le exponent u6 sibeka phansi, so 6x, and then 6 minus 1 is what? 5. Okay, then minus, and then now 9 multiplied by 4. Now 9 multiplied by 4 is 36, and then 4 minus 1 is 3, and then from there plus 27 multiplied by 2 is 54, and then 2 minus 1 is 1. So ngambhala or ngamiyeke. Now minus 0, because siyazi ukuthi derivative ye constant number is 0. Okay, and then we are done. Umbuzo olandelayo uthi a rectangle with length x and width y is to be inscribed in an isosceles triangle of height 80 centimeters and base 10 centimeters as shown. So now A, express your y in terms of x. So question is to express y in terms of x. Loko kusho ukuthi mele sibe na something eso, like y is equals to maybe 7x plus what. But mele si express y in terms of x. Okay. And then, so now we are also given la, basnikeze a hint, but see triangle ABC is similar to triangle APQ. Triangle ABC, we have found triangle APQ. Now, sizokhumbula from Euclidean geometry, congruency and similarity. Siyakhumbula ukuthi if sitshelwa ukuthi something is similar, then it means ukuthi ama proportions akhona ayafana, right? Basically, into abayishoyo nge-similarity is the fact that mangithi AP over AB kusho ukuthi izofana no PQ over BC, right? Similarity and congruency rule. I hope nisazikhumbula. So lana bekumele usebenzise ihint yakho and work on work based on ihint, ne? So njengoba besishilo ke, so kuthi sizothi PQ over BC is the same as AP over AB, right? So now PQ x over BC with 10, right? And then now sifuna ukuthola AP over BC, right? Not necessarily when it's AP over BC, I'm not necessarily talking about this, right? I'm khulumi about this part. So when it's AP over BC, I'm talking about this, right? Okay, so we're closing this sibega, this part, this section in relation to x and y. Okay, so ukusuka la uze la, right? Ukusuka la uze la, ukusuka la uze la, right? Is equals to 8, and it's siyavuma. So that's why la esayidini ngino 8, ngino x, ngino y, ngino 8. Ukubonisa ukuthi x plus y is equals to 8. Okay, so now because sidila nge-proportions sizothi this part divided by this whole part. English. So it's this kusuka la uze la divided by this whole thing. Okay. And then now siyabona ukuthi this part, this one, le part le, is equals to 8 minus y. Because mangithi 8 minus la ngisala ngalokho, right? So that's why it's 8 minus y over the whole part, which is 8, yeah? Which is 8. And then from there, so I'm going to cross multiplier, right? So it goes about 8x is equals to 10 into 8 minus y. So 8x is equals to 10 multiplied by 8 is 80 minus 10y, right? And then 10y is equals to 80 minus 8x. And then so divide our 10, so divide our 10. Cancel, and then y is equals to 80 minus 8x all over 10. So you see so you see ukuthi sesi express our y in terms of our x. Now ubi uti, hence show that the area of the rectangle can be expressed as a is equals to 8x minus 8x squared over 10. Okay, so from a previous question, so let's solve so let's express y in terms of x, and so let's tell you what y is this, right? Now for us 7 on this qala. So obviously la because about 80 divided by 10 is going to give us 8 minus 8x over 10, and it's so y is equals to this. All right, so now lana we must show the area of a rectangle, which can be expressed as this. Okay, so the area a triangle, first thing Melisias is a is equals to the base times height, and the base here 2, which is our x multiplied by a height, right? And our height, which is y weight, because it's base times height, and then y weight is 8 minus 8x over 10. And it's so now x multiplied by 8, sneakers 8x minus now x multiplied by 8x over 10. So team x over 1, which is this one, multiplied by 8x over 10, and then a space, and then izosinikeza 8x minus x multiplied by 8x is 8x squared over 1 multiplied by 10 is 10, and then siyabona ukuthi loku kuyafana exactly with this. So done. Umbuzo wethu wokugcina uthi determine the dimensions, that being length and width of the rectangle for it to be maximum. So now kuma basics ngingamenshina ukuthi for a maximum ne minimum, right? For maximum and minimum points, the first thing okumele uyenze is to derive, right? Then maqeda ukuderive uzo equate to 0, and then you'll solve for x. Bese mawuthola x uzomsubstitute to your original formula, right? And then you will get your y. Alright, so the area yethu, as Mrs. calculated previously, right, is 8x minus 8x squared over 10. Alright, so now derive this, right? Now a prime x is equals to, so derive again manje, 2 multiplied by, okay, so kanala, which is 8, right, minus 2 multiplied, because the derivation of 8x is 8, so I hope you can understand that, and then minus 2 multiplied by 8, which is 16x, 2 minus 1 is 1 over 10, alright, and then now so all equals to 0. Then now so solve for x. So now we have 8 minus 16x over 10 is equals to 0. So transposer 16 over 10. So it's over 16 over 10x. Right? So now that sifuna ukusala no x, so divide with 16 over 10 divided by 16 over 10. Le izokhanselana nale, and then x will be, and then sizokhanja ku calculator, 8 divided by 16 over 10 is nigeza 5, right? 5 centimeters. Okay, so then from there, now that says x, where to say so substitute into the original equation. Right, just equals to 8x minus 8x squared over 10. So now since you substitute again, so it's about 8, x squared is 5, right? Minus 8 into 5 squared all over 10. Alright, and then punch a new calculator. 8 multiplied by 5 is 40, minus 8 multiplied 5 squared is just 25 multiplied by 5, which will give us 200 divided by 10, which will give us 20. So it's 20, and then it's 40 minus 20, so just think it's 20 centimeters cubed. Right. Okay, just remove this. So it's 20 centimeters cubed. So now 20 divided by 5 will give us a 4. So therefore, y weight is equals to 4 centimeters. So maximum point here to where x is 5 centimeters and where y is 4 centimeters. Umbuzo wethu olandelayo uthi a car has 4 liters of petrol in the tank. After driving 80 kilometers, the car has 2 liters of petrol left. The graph below shows the car's petrol consumption and a distance traveled. Now determine the graph gradient of the line L. Okay, so lana sine graph ebonisa I petrol consumption as I distance ehanjwa imoto. So imoto mayihamba a certain distance, idla petrol, idla a certain amount of petrol. So lana siyabona ukuthi I straight line lesi, right? So ukuthola gradient shouldn't be a problem, because here's good gradient a straight line, it's m is equals to change in y over change in x, and it's in this case we change in y where 2 is your change in petrol over your change in distance, and then uzohamba uyo choose at any point. But since this graph ingekho up to scale, it's better to use what we given, right? So I'm a point this now. So here basnikeze this point, which is quite clear, basnikeze another point, right? So we can see that lana is 0 is 4, our x is 0, and then our y is 4, and then x way 2 is 80 lana, and then y way 2 is 2. So but since we straight line ungathatha any points, but rather 7 is allowed as well, because this drawing is not up to scale. So our change in y is about it's 4 minus the 2, and you show over the 0 minus the 8, because now it's just minus our x, right? And then so you punch it in the calculator and see what we get. So 4 minus 2 is 2, divided by 0 minus 80 is negative 80. so sithola i-negative 0.025. Umbuzo wethu wesi-2 uthi explain the significance of the value of the gradient obtained. Okay, so into yokuqala la efanele siyimenshine ku-explanation yethu ukuthi well i-gradient yethu since i-gradient yethu i-negative, right, lokho kusho ukuthi imoto ibhena 0.02 liters ye-petrol for every kilometer e-travelayo. Okay, so that means because this is a gradient kusho ukuthi imoto ibhena lama-liter lawa, right, for every kilometers that it travels. So into sizoyisho is that, well, our gradient is negative first of all, which means therefore the car burns 0.025 liters for every kilometer traveled. Okay, point yethu qala leyo sizoyenza. And then last point yethu also siyasho ukuthi since the gradient yethu since i-negative, so lokho kusitshela ukuthi i-amount ye-petrol le ekutank iya-decrease, right? Well, obviously the more u drive, if ever bona 5 liters and ukavara more distance and more distance, le petrol le ekutank ilibe liyahle angeke izukhuphuke, right? So yes, so therefore that is why i-gradient yethu i-negative, because ibonisa a decrease, ayikusi increase iyehle. So now i-gradient yethu is negative also, which shows that which tells us ukuthi the amount of petrol in a tank is decreasing. You see? So first explanation yethu, so let's assume ukuthi okay, well, imoto ibhena such liters for every kilometers e-travelayo, and then also sasho ukuthi, well, again, the amount of petrol in a tank iya decrease the more you cover the distance. Okay.